What is up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm sure you missed us yesterday. We did miss you. Busy doing things, but we're here to draft again with you. And you know what? If you want to get in and draft with us, which we do every single week, we mock with you, our community members. You're going to have to be fast. We have only 2 spots open right now on tonight's draft. 2 spots. Why is that? Why are we, opening up a draft when we only have 2 spots? Well, we've been doing this again all off season long. But if you are a member of the Flock and you join us, flockfantasy.com/endgame, you have access to the Discord, which, among other things, the mock draft channel, where the link drops early. So you get to join the mock and pick your spot. You get to be one of the first. We got, including us, we got 10 already in. We only have 2 spots available. So anybody else who's hoping to join, again, unless you're the fantasy AI who's got that script ready to go, got to be very quick on the trigger finger. And again, you can be nice and early, get your spot reserved hours before we go live. If you remember, check out all the details there, everything else that's involved, including Dynasty. We still have a couple of spots left in that Dynasty League Part 2, where we're building champions, helping you figure out how to play Dynasty, how to win in Dynasty, and you can prove it and show it by competing with us and our community members in a Dynasty League. And so no pressure there. It's all people just like you who'd be playing for the first or one of the first times. So anyways, all that and more, flockfantasy.com/endgame, 30% off while supplies last. All right. So we are doing a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 receiver, which is kind of what we've been doing most of the summer. I know some people have been asking 2 receiver leagues because that's what a lot of people play. We're going back. We're throwing it back to 3 receivers now, right?
Yes, we're back. This is kind of like, sorry, I'm messaging one of the guys. Yeah, this is kind of like our bread and butter, 3 wide receiver. I know we've been doing the 2 wide receiver lately because that's what most of you say you play in. But tonight we're going to do the 3 wide receiver for the 2 lucky people who get in.
There you go. All right. Yeah, draft is almost full. Oh, someone switched. Okay, so now it looks like it's just the end, 11 and 12. So hopefully you like the end, which has been a great place to pick so far. And just to answer Nate's question, sorry to say I'm wearing a baseball shirt. It's OBP, on base percentage. This is one of those shirts. I have several. It's basically like if you can read this, you are a baseball nerd. That's basically what I'm representing here. I'm proud of it. All right. I'm saving my Dan Marino shirt for this season. It's special. All right. We ready to drop that link? Let's do it. Let's get those 2 spots filled up, and I'm sure it'll be pretty quick.
All right, here we go. 2 spots. Although I'm trying to see. Ale got in. NMB got in. I'm trying to see. That was weird. It said like 4 people joined the draft, which is weird because there's not room for 4. But I'm trying to see if Clayton is actually online or not. So we may have one more.
Oh, yeah. See, he's at the 5, but he's not green. I know Clayton's been with us pretty much all off season. All right. So give us a minute. We will check. We got our spots all filled up. If Clayton doesn't respond, maybe we can open up one more. I gave myself the 6 just because I'm ready for a challenge tonight. Don't love the middle. Marquise, he's in the house, but Marquise, you joining these drafts or what? You said you're waiting until after the draft. You've been watching, but you got to join. We don't have any spots right now, but let's see.
All right, I don't think, because I messaged him in the sleeper chat on Discord. I haven't heard from him, so I'm going to remove him.
All right, sorry about that, Clayton, but
so somebody else is going to get in here.
And that's okay. Clayton's in almost every draft. He's with us every day. He's in the Dynasty League. So there we go. And there we go.
All right. There we go. We are now full.
In. All right. Let's do it then. We're going, I want to say old school. Not really. 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 receiver, full PPR, of course. 1 tight end, 1 flex spot. All right. Other John, 65 is going to be on the clock.
And by the way, other John, if you're listening, I tried to message you in the chat there. We need to get you in the Dynasty League. Oh, now I feel bad. My bad. I messaged you on Discord too.
All right.
Another John, we need to get you in the Dynasty League. So message me on Discord. So we can get you in that Dynasty League. And I apologize, Clayton.
Yeah, it's just we never know. We hate to go on and have anybody auto draft or not show up. But like I said, Clay, you're in pretty much every draft we do. So you'll be okay. You'll catch us tomorrow. Oh, okay. Well, you know what?
Don't auto draft now after all that.
After I was talking all that. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Since Hill is gone, my top 4 receivers are gone. CMC is gone, which we're gonna talk about that user in a second. Here we go. Not afraid, not scared to take Bijan that early. So at the 3, we have a new user, Sean Mango. Any familiarity here with Sean Mango?
I do know. I am familiar with Sean Mango. My cousin Sean. What's up? Goes with CMC there. We'll see how that works out. I'm happy that I had Cup at 3 though, or at 4. Happy Cup was there at 4.
And talking about those receivers, so we just went over our wide receiver rankings. So guys, the next couple days, you're looking for that to drop. Our up-to-date wide receiver rankings, top 25. You're going to find out, and running backs too. So those videos dropping very soon. You'll see exactly what we think about these guys in this order.
This is an interesting first round for us, especially for the 3 wide receiver league. We've already got 3 running backs.
It is. I feel like, when push comes to shove and we get closer to the actual drafts, running backs go earlier than they do in most of our mock drafts. I think we're going to see that a little bit more. JT got pushed up a little bit. Once Saquon, thing is all settled, he's going to get pushed up a little.
Yeah. It's funny. I have a tweet I send out almost every year where it's like, people in January, I'm in like a little quote, I'm tired of getting burned by running backs. I'm drafting wide receivers next year. People in August, you got to have a running back there. You can't come out of your draft without a running back. It's like every single year, people get burned by running backs, swear off running backs, and then when push comes to shove, they're like, nah, I got to get a running back.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to pass. They're alluring, but I'm not going robust RB.
Are you going RB?
Nah. I'll take. I would have preferred Devontae, but I'll take Higgins.
Yeah, this is where I feel like. I mean, I don't want to I obviously don't want to sway the people who are about to draft. But I do feel like at this part of the draft where the way it's gone, I don't think this is how it will go in most leagues, most, I guess, casual leagues, for lack of a better word. We'll see a lot more running backs than this.
Oh, yeah.
But I think for us at this part of the draft, the wide receivers here are okay. Don't love them. And then the running backs are like, wow, how is this guy still on the board?
Look, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I didn't take a look real hard and think maybe I should get Barkley, right? A stud running back, a guy who could be top 5 and, just get that locked down and then fill up, a little bit more quantity over quality with the receivers and say, I'm going to be good with some wide receiver 2 types, but that's not the smart way to draft. It's just not. There's too much risk. There's just too much risk. And even if Higgins isn't going to be, a top 5 receiver, it's okay because he'll be there all year and he'll be solid all year. And he's going to have those ceiling games, right? He's going to have those games where he's so. Yeah, I know it's not the most exciting pick. Like I wasn't like doing backflips. T Higgins fell to me in this round 2. Like no, and he might not even be a round 2 pick in a lot of, like you say, home leagues and casual leagues. He'll probably fall
Right.
to round 3.
Yep.
And people take quarterbacks earlier too than we do, but it's okay because I know in the end I'm doing the right thing. At least that's what I'm telling myself. I got some. I'll put some comments here. Let's see. What's up, Roberto? In the house.
What's up, Roberto?
Yeah, Nate. I know the feeling, and I don't want to ramble on about like the one that got me in and talk about Fishbowl. It's very different scoring there. Very different scoring. I was doing backflips. I landed CeeDee Lamb in round 3. Now this is a super flex league, right? But still, I got CeeDee Lamb in round 3. I was pretty happy. And then I got Dobbins in round 5, and then I was worried, but I got Cam Akers as my RB2 in round 7. And that is a league that rewards point per first down, and I think it's point, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I know he will. 0.25 per carry. You actually, running backs get a bonus for each carry. So stud running backs will definitely play a huge part. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
Man, I just went back-to-back running backs because the only wide receiver I really wanted here was Cooper. Yeah, I know it's a 3 wide receiver league. I'm probably in trouble now, but man, it's like,
all right, that's what we were talking about.
Tony Pollard in the 3rd round. Like, when does that happen?
Yeah, there's still some really good receivers left, but yeah, the allure of getting that guy who, I mean, maybe Pollard is a top 5 running back this year. That he's got that ceiling at least. Oh, I'm on the clock.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how this affects my build going forward, though. I mean, there definitely are some wide receivers I like on the board. I just feel like I'm reaching for them.
Well, that's where I'm at right now. It's exactly where I'm at right now. And you know what? Oh, great. Here we go. All right.
I actually thought about DJ Moore, but I'm like, can I really take DJ Moore at the beginning of the 3rd round? But I did think about him. I definitely thought about him.
I mean, yeah. There's a couple of receivers. One which I'll pull up this comment after he gets picked. Man, you know what running back I was looking at, but
yeah, I'm surprised you didn't take him. Honestly,
head versus heart.
I know it's tough to have 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds of a 3 wide receiver league, but man.
Andrews, all right. Andrews going early. That's Keith. Keith is in the SFB mindset, taking a tight end early. No tight end premium here. No. Actually, he's been drafting Mark Andrews a lot, hasn't he? He's big on Andrews this year.
Yeah, I like Andrews. I think, like, I feel like he probably has the best potential to be close to Kelsey this year. I know a lot of people think Hawkinson, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't see it. Man, Derrick Henry. Like, I'm not even a big Henry guy, but that is crazy good value.
Look, it was this was my head fighting with my heart for me not to take Derrick Henry there, and I'm just trying to model good drafting behavior, right? We say you're an anchor RB. You don't necessarily need to go robust RB, and it was hard, but we'll see if I wind up regretting it. I mean, I guess it depends. I do say though, like I was just talking about Akers, and I feel like there's a gap, and I'm pretty satisfied waiting on RB2 because I know there's going to be really good players left in round 5 and 6. I think that I'll be totally fine with. So it's not the case with the receiver, especially in our drafts. You know what I mean? If you wait too long for your wide receiver 3 in a 3 receiver must start league, that is what hurts you. So I'm trying to think long term.
No, I hear you on that. Trust me. It was like, man, I would have much preferred to take Cooper there over Pollard, and I do really like DJ Moore, and I do really like Christian Watson, but like,
yeah,
the 3-4 feels very early for those guys.
Cooper was there, you would have taken him, right?
Yeah. So.
All right, what about you think this was a reach? Sean took DK Metcalf. We've said our piece about DK Metcalf. You guys will see exactly where he is in our rankings pretty soon, but is that a reach?
I mean, it's a reach for me because I don't think DK Metcalf should be going over a lot of these wide receivers. I just don't think he's going to be very good this year. Like, I don't think, like, if you would have gone, like, I mean, I think DJ Moore is a reach where you took him, but at least I like DJ Moore. And I almost took DJ Moore there, even though I did think it was a reach. I just don't really like DK this year. I mean, I like DK. I just don't like him in fantasy this year because, yeah, you gotta hope JSN doesn't eat into his target share, and you also have to hope Geno Smith is at least as good as he was last year again and doesn't turn into a pumpkin. So, yeah, I just feel like there's other receivers I would have preferred.
Yeah, and again, I think the way you said it is like I like DK. I just don't like where he's being drafted. I don't like drafting him in the 3rd round this year, so I wouldn't have taken him there. I mean, it's just more so that I would rather take DJ Moore, Watson, London. So now I get to this because was asking, DH was asking, you worried about not enough pass volume for Drake London? Not really.
I mean, no, I've talked about it in a few videos now. I think, like, if you look at the games with Desmond Ridder, they actually were throwing just under 30 times per game. It was like 29.7, which isn't a lot. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like that's a lot. It's very low. It still would be like bottom 7 or 8 in the league last year. But, like, the 49ers only averaged 31 per game. The Eagles only averaged, I think, 32 per game. And we love Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, and we really like Deebo. Well, I don't really like Deebo Samuel, but a lot of people really like Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle, right? All these guys. So the nice thing for Drake London is it's basically just him and Pitts. That's it. Like, who else is like Olamide Zaccheaus, Mac Hollins? Like, who else is catching passes? So yeah, they might not throw. You know, I don't think they go way over 30. I think they probably hover right around 30 attempts per game. But when you're only 2 guys are a wide receiver and a tight end, that's more than enough. It's more than enough.
It's not going to turn into a high-volume passing attack. It just isn't. It's Arthur Smith. But it's not as if their defense is going to be that much improved that they're just going to be able to sit and run the ball every play. You know, it's going to be comparable to last year. And the target competition hasn't really increased. You know, I mean, you can say, well, Kyle Pitts wasn't healthy the whole second half last year. But still, at wideout, yeah, I'm fine with London. You know, I would say, and I've been saying this isn't the year he has a breakout season for fantasy. It's not going to be this year. It's probably going to be next year, possibly if Arthur Smith gets canned. But at Drake London, when they get a new quarterback, especially, that would also, and Ritter's fine, but let's face it, he's not necessarily a franchise type quarterback. But I think London is fine as a wide receiver too. I would say I like DJ Moore a little better, so I took him. Watson is the one where I struggle. You know, he's going to be less consistent. He's got more of a, weekly ceiling. So it's between those 2 guys. And then
man. I was really torn there between Marquise Brown and Mike Williams, and I figured Mike Williams would most likely make it back to me than Marquise Brown, but I was wrong. Because I know most people don't like Mike Williams. So I figured, Mike Williams will make it back to me.
This is about right, though. You remember early in the preseason when people thought they were going to cut Keenan Allen, he was going in round 3, early round 3.
I just know a lot of people don't like Mike Williams. Like, I always get a lot of pushback on Mike Williams. Like, he's always hurt. He's too up and down or whatever. So I figured he'd make it back to me. But he didn't. But it's okay. There's still wide receivers I like here.
Okay, so would it be crazy to take London and Pitts? No. I think that's fine. I mean, I know Atlanta is not necessarily the offense you want huge shares of, but again, you look at them individually. London should be wide receiver 2 type. Pitts, I mean, nobody has the ceiling he does at tight end other than Kelsey. So I don't think I wouldn't have a problem with that. Would you?
Yeah, I think. Remember, like, this is why I say, like, a lot of people say, like, they're not going to throw enough for these guys. And I'm like, we're not talking about 2 wide receivers. We're talking about a wide receiver and a tight end. And for Like for London to be worth where he's going right now, what are we talking about? 14, 15, maybe 16 points per game, and you're going to be feeling pretty good about where you got Drake London, right? He doesn't need to be like a guy getting you 20 plus every single week and being a top 5 wide receiver. For Kyle Pitts to be a top 3 tight end, we're talking about like 12 to 13 points per game. That's literally what a top 3 tight end is in fantasy football. So we're not like, we don't need these guys to be like, averaging 15 plus for Pitts averaging 15 plus and London averaging 20 plus. Otherwise it's like, oh, those weren't good picks. Like that's why I keep saying like these guys can have very good seasons this year in a low volume passing offense because it's a wide receiver and a tight end. Like Kyle Pitts doesn't need a 25% target share. Like, so I think having both is fine.
All right, let's continue with the Drake London.
5th rounder now.
The Drake London theme, let's keep it going. When NMB's been asking this question, you got keepers, all right? So you're in a keeper league. You got to pick 2. Hurts in the 6th, London in the 7th, or Olave in the 9th.
Definitely Hurts in London. I mean, Hurts in Olave. Definitely Hurts in Olave. That's like I like London, but you're talking about potentially the number 1 QB and a 2nd round wide receiver you're getting in the 9th round. I'm taking Hurts and Olave.
Yeah, if London and Olave were the same round, then you debate because London has the age advantage, and you can go back and forth about the offense and who has the higher 2-round discount for Olave, who should be better this year. Yeah, I'll take Olave for sure over London. And it Hurts in the 6th. You can't pass that up.
Yeah, I can't pass up Hurts in the 6th.
And again, it's not a anti-London take. It's just that makes the most sense. Did I snipe you? Look, I was just going to say, I almost took a quarterback in the previous round. Burrow to stack with Higgins was tempting. Lamar, I'm huge on Lamar this year. I think he has his best season yet. Man, nobody took a quarterback except for one. And so landing Lamar in the 5th feels really good. And now I'm going to be a little even more tilted, though, if all these other quarterbacks are still there when I come back in the 6th. But now that I'm talking about it, it won't happen.
I would have taken Lamar there if I hadn't gone 2 running backs in the 2nd and 3rd. Like if I already had, like if Hollywood was my wide receiver 3 instead of my wide receiver 2, I would have definitely gone Lamar there. I considered Lamar there, but I'm like, man, if I take Lamar here, like who's my wide receiver 3 and flex going to be? It's going to be ugly. So I said, oh, well, it's good value on Lamar, but I got to pass on it.
And that's why, even though it felt a little odd taking DJ Moore over Derrick Henry, now I'm going to wait and see who comes back to me this round at running back. And I see some of them are taken now, but I still think I'll get a pretty good player. Of course, as I say that, Ale decides to purposely get my guy running back, but still, I'd rather
wait
on
Ronnie.
RB2.
I mean, he's fully embraced the 0 RB. He's got a tight end, a QB, and 3 wide receivers. This is an interesting pick here. How much does he embrace it? Does he grab his flex here, or does he give in, grab a running back?
I mean, if you're gonna go all in, right?
Yes.
What is Akers' ceiling this season?
It's a good question. I would say probably like top 10-ish running back.
I mean, I know the one thing that you talked about, the video that's coming out in a couple days, the Rams aren't a team that really wants to. Well, Sean McVay is not a coach that really wants to, pound the ground and establish the run first. He didn't care about that, but he's also got no competition for carries. I mean, he really doesn't. He's going to be the guy. So, and I like Zach Evans, but come on, like Akers is going to be the guy until he gets hurt or something happens. So that's the thing.
Yeah, my worries for Akers. I agree with Nate here. Low end RB1. My worries for Akers are, like you just said, But before Stafford got hurt last year, they were throwing, I think it was like 64% of the time. They were like the third highest passing team in the NFL. So those nice games Akers had down the stretch was with Baker Mayfield when they stopped throwing so much because they had Baker Mayfield. So that's one worry. The other worry is, even though he will catch passes, he's not like we can't bank on him just catching a ton of passes this year. And then another thing is the Rams love to throw the ball. Like Sean McVay just loves to throw the ball near the goal line. So I think those things will cap his ceiling to a degree here. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to be taking him. But I still think the volume, the offense, I think he can be like a low end RB1.
Yeah, and again, we're talking ceiling. That's what the question was: is what is his ceiling? And I think that's fair.
The question is not what is his floor.
Yeah, it's not. What are your projections for him? What do you think he's gonna? No, we're asking the ceiling. I mean, realistically, he's probably not gonna lead the league in rushing. He could do. I mean, if he stays intact and healthy, and everything goes well for the Rams this year, which everything to hell last year for them, but look at the way he was used, and a lot of that was because Stafford was hurt, right? Like they didn't want to pass the ball because they didn't have a quarterback they trusted. But all told, he puts together 80 something yards per game, stays in the field. Nothing crazy happens. No real competition. He could go for 1,200 on the ground, catch 30, 40 passes. Through volume, he could be a low end RB1.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A low-end RB1 basically means you played every game pretty much, you got decent volume, and you weren't completely terrible. Like, that's really go look at all the low-end RB1s. That's like every year, right? Because it's more like a war of attrition at running back, right? You have like the 3 or 4 guys that were just awesome that year, and then the rest of the guys that make up the RB1s are kind of like, oh, well, or maybe you have, I don't know, maybe you have like 5 or 6 guys that were really good. And then the rest of the RB1s are like, hey, he didn't get hurt. He didn't get hurt. And he was the starter all year. Okay, he's an RB1. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how the running back position is, to be honest.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And, Akers isn't a guy where, reliable isn't maybe the word you would think to throw out with him. And, he's had his share of injuries and inconsistency, but you don't know, right? You don't know what's going to happen this year. If he's back to full health, the Rams keep it together. What is up? It is a great night for a draft. Tomorrow night feels like a good night for a draft too, doesn't it? Every night's a good night for a draft. Oh, I can't believe you did that. You actually back-to-back picks, took 2 of my guys. I was going to take a receiver, and you don't even like George Pickens.
I don't, but he was the best player on the board. I'm like, I mean, maybe he wasn't the best player on the board. Like, I don't know, maybe I could have gone Pitts there, but now I'm like, I still don't have a flex. That's no fun. That is no fun. Honestly, I think Zay Flowers should be picked ahead of Pickens, to be honest, but whatever.
Well, I was all set to stack him with Lamar, but now I don't even want a receiver. I'm going to take a tight end.
So suddenly your team that passed on Derrick Henry to get the 3 wide receiver build still only has 3 wide receivers. What happened? How did this happen?
Because you took them all. No. I mean, I didn't want to wait. Look, right there was the end of the RB2 cliff, I guess I could say. If I didn't take Swift, I don't know. I feel a lot better about Swift than Madison. Sanders would have been okay. But I wanted him for the upside. And I really thought I would get one of those guys on the way back. Dotson, I knew wouldn't last. Pickens, maybe. But I thought I could have got Flowers.
No, I'm super high on Flowers. I'm really surprised that people are so much higher on Pickens than Flowers. I don't get it.
Well, people are going to be surprised when they realize that Baltimore is going to throw the ball a lot more than Pittsburgh is this year.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson's just a slightly better passer than Kenny Pickett.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, let's talk about the guy who's not been taken yet. Now that we know he's not going to get anything serious, yeah, they could still suspend him, but come on, it's the NFL. What are they really going to do? It doesn't sound like it's going to be like a 6 or more game suspension, right?
I mean, who knows? I don't even know, but it doesn't even matter to me. Like last year, I was telling her I was not drafting Alvin Kamara at all. I didn't draft him anywhere. I did not regret not drafting him. Now he's a year older. He was worse last year than the year before. He's going to be worse this year than he was last year. That's just how it works. That's how age works. And they added a rookie running back, and they signed Jamal Williams. There's no round where I'm drafting Alvin Kamara. There just isn't. If somebody wants him because, hey, it's round 11. Like, it's fair. Like, okay, whatever. Take Alvin Kamara. Trust me, as somebody who had Alvin, because I did trade for him in 2 leagues. Like an idiot. When he had like 2 good games in a row, I'm like, oh, maybe I was wrong on Alvin Kamara. Let me go trade for him. I wasn't even starting him down the stretch. I wasn't even starting him in my fantasy playoffs. I'm like, I can't even start this guy. So, yeah, you can say like, oh, round 11, it's Alvin Kamara. It doesn't matter when he's sitting on your bench because you can't put him in your lineup. It doesn't matter what round you took him in.
Yeah, you got to feel like now that there's Derek Carr and they paid up for him and they're not going to rely on as many dump offs to Kamara. That was the old offense. That was a holdover from the Drew Brees days. There's certain quarterbacks who love to check down. I don't know. Derek Carr is not a check down master. He likes to push it down the field if he can.
I mean, he hasn't had he had 80 or more catches every year of his career, and then the last 2, he's barely reached 50. He hasn't scored touchdowns the last 2 years, and why would that change now that they have Jamal Williams and Kendrick Miller there? So he's not going to get you a ton of touchdowns. He's not going to get you a ton of catches. To say he hasn't been efficient is being very generous. He's been downright awful as a runner. It's just I hate to say it because I still have his little jersey. It was like it'll always have memories for me, my little puppy. But he's dust. Alvin Kamara is dust, and no, not taking him anywhere. He's dust. And you're gonna say he's not dust. It's fine. Last year I said he was dust, and he was dust. Last year I said Zeke was dust, and he was dust. He's dust.
Yeah, I'm not taking him either. Of course, now I don't know who I'm taking a receiver, so I've now bit myself by waiting too long. Don't love it. But yeah, Kamara's ADP is going to creep up. You knew this would happen. I saw somewhere, and I don't even know if it's real. Maybe it was Sleeper, the little news thing saying his ADP is like a 5th round ADP. We don't even draft him in the first 10 rounds.
Please, people, don't do that. Please don't take Alvin Kamara in round 5. Alvin Kamara wasn't even worth it in round 5 last year when they didn't have then they didn't draft Kendrick Miller and they didn't sign Jamal Williams and he wasn't facing a suspension. How are we going to take him in the 5th round this year? Like what? What? Like what round would you have drafted? Well, I know the answer is no round, but like what round would you have felt comfortable like knowing if you knew what you were getting from Alvin Kamara last year, what round would you draft him in? There's no round. There's no round. He was getting like 9 points, 10 points. Like there's no round.
Yeah, that's true. That upside, it just isn't there anymore. Like you said, now he's got 2 guys competing with him for touches. One a rookie who's pretty good, and one a guy who scored how many touchdowns last year? 17, 18?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're on a serious RB run. Of course.
Yeah, the wide receivers are gone now.
Well, they were already gone. I don't even know if Cortland Sutton counts. Like, can I really put Cortland Sutton in my flex every week? Is that okay?
You can, but you're not going to enjoy it. So Nate asking if he was a Jacoby Myers. No, at least Jacoby Myers had like 3 20-point games, I think, right? Didn't he have like 3 20? I don't think Kamara had any. Maybe he had one. Maybe he had like 1 20-point game. He was even worse than Jacoby Myers last year. Trust me, I traded for him in 2 leagues thinking like, I'm going to get Alvin Kamara and go make a run. And I was like, oh my gosh, can I take those trades back?
All right. Well, you cannot take Gabe Davis. He's off the board.
All right, man. Do I gamble here? Yeah, I think so. I mean, Alvin Kamara is still on the board.
This was the plan all along to see you take him.
Okay.
Not surprised. Not surprised you did. All right, there we go. All right, still got a guy. Got a guy I like.
I was thinking about him. Him and Samaj.
It definitely sounds like the Dolphins aren't getting Dalvin Cook because apparently they did talk to him and he like scoffed at their offer. He's like, I'm worth far more than you think, which is not true. But yeah, it doesn't sound like that's happening.
I mean, he wants like $10 million.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money to pay a 28-year-old running back who didn't look great last year
with a history of shoulder injuries.
Yeah. I mean, Cook was okay last year. Like, he wasn't as bad as guys like Kamara. Like, when you look at that draft class, like, he wasn't as bad as guys like Kamara, Mixon. Who else am I forgetting from that class? Zeke, I think was a year earlier. But he still looked like, okay, he didn't look like prime Dalvin Cook last year. Let's be real. He just did not look like prime Dalvin Cook last year. So he really, like, do teams really want to invest $10 million in a running back past his prime? Probably not.
Yeah, he's gonna have to at this point just sit back and prey on some downfall of some running back injury. You know, get team get desperate.
Yeah, that's what he needs to wait for. I think he needs to wait for like the terrible news that we never like to hear, where it's like running back X tore his ACL in practice today. And sadly, happens every year. Maybe this year it won't happen.
What about Barkley? Nah, the last thing I heard yesterday was that they're talking and that something's probably going to happen. Yeah, they may not be close, but that changes in 24 hours. You'd be like, oh, yeah, now they're close, or now it's a done. I'm not worried about Barkley too much.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Barkley, honestly.
Juju.
I mean, we're at this point. I think my gamble is going to pay off.
Yeah, look, your receiver room looks better than mine.
I actually really like my team, to be honest. I got Barkley and Pollard. I got Kupp, Hollywood, Pittman, Pickens, Flowers. I only need, 3 in a flex. I got Gibby and Pirine. I kind of really like how this team played out with the 2 early running backs. I might have to become a running back drafter.
All right.
You got to start calling me Mr. RB from now on.
Mr. RB, like Mr. 305. But yeah, but you don't have your quarterback and your tight end yet.
Look.
What you did for my receivers, I might just draft a second quarterback just so you don't get your guy. All of this 2 quarterbacks.
Then I'll just grab Tua. Just to spite you, I'll grab Tua.
Oh, well, there you go. No, I already have. I don't need a flex because I have Lamar. He's going to be worth like 3 players.
I actually do. I do feel like Lamar is going to have a monster year this year.
Yeah. I hope so.
Actually, I am not taking AR-15. The gamble was, do I take Freiermuth or Njoku or wait that one of them gets back? Because there were 3 people that didn't have a tight end yet. So I'm happy that Njoku made it back to me.
Yep. That's a good pick.
It was a gamble because I think Ale, Anthony, and NMB did not have a tight end yet. So I'm like, man, they might not. One of them might not make it back, but they did.
And you still have your choice at quarterback. You got a couple guys. Look, who doesn't have a quarterback? Does anybody not have a quarterback other than you? Keith? Looks like Keith.
Keith does not have a quarterback.
All right.
So I don't know. Is this like a compliment or an insult? When I hear you both agree on a player that I also like, I get nervous. I don't know how to take that. Well, there's the Kamara pick.
Oh,
I don't know how to take this. So you like it better when we disagree? But what if okay, do you have a preference? Like if we disagree, but you like him and Pierre likes him, you feel good. But if you like him and I like him, you don't feel good? Or is it just like as long as you like him and only one of us like him, then you feel good? Like if we both like him, you're like, oh no, but if only one of us like him, you feel good? I don't understand this.
I think it's like makes it sound like it's too good to be true. If everyone agrees he's going to smash, right? Then it's like Murphy's Law, like he's going to flop.
Yeah.
There's your guy. See, just so that you would normally wait till the last round, and now you knew somebody was going to try to snipe you.
I don't think Keith is big on Anthony Richardson this year, so I'm not sure I'll take him. But we've seen in some of these drafts, like people take 2 QBs sometimes, and I'd rather just get him now.
That's true. Oops. Putting this up.
Okay.
Eckler, Smith, and Njoku, or Andrews, Dobbins, and Cooper with a tight end premium. Okay, so the premium Andrews over Njoku, that's definitely an advantage. Dobbins, but Eckler, that's.
I mean, is this redraft or dynasty? Because in dynasty, I want Dobbins over Eckler. In redraft, I want Eckler. So for me, I mean, I'm probably going to go the Andrews side well.
Yeah, I think in a tight end premium, the Andrews advantage. He says redraft.
Okay, because I feel like Cooper and Devonta Smith might be close. I mean, Eckler should definitely outscore Dobbins. As much as I like Dobbins, I mean, I think Eckler will outscore him. Is the premium enough for Andrews over Njoku? Probably. I'd probably take the Andrews side.
Yeah, for me, the Andrews side, because I do expect a big year from Dobbins. Cooper would be solid, not a big drop off between Devonta Smith and Cooper, if at all. So, yeah, I think you got to take the Andrews side and tight end premium.
All right, so Nate clarified, I'm liking a lot of Pierre's guys this year. Honest answer is I think Chris is always spot on when he tells the guys, hey, so if you want to know the bus, come to me. I'll tell you the bus.
It's true. Those high volume.
Then you guys better stop drafting George Pickens because I really think George Pickens is going to bust this year, even though I did draft him this draft.
What do you mean? You see, I knew you took it just to spite me there. You took
it. I took it because there's no Quentin Johnston, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore. I mean, I kind of like Elijah Moore, but there's nobody left at wide receiver. That's why I took him.
And then there's really nobody left now.
All right, this is an interesting question. Rob asking, Superflex, 6-point passing touchdown. In round 1, where do you not take a QB? This is a redraft.
I mean, that's a good question. Looking at traditional Superflex draft, I've seen an entire first round of quarterbacks. And, a lot of times the first at least 8 picks are quarterbacks, 6-point passing touchdown. Yeah, I mean, where basically you're asking where you draw the line where you'll take Justin Jefferson or Jamar
Yeah.
Chase instead of a quarterback. I think. I mean, I threw out the number 8 because I feel like that's where the first kind of cutoff line is. So probably assuming everyone else is going quarterback, maybe pick 9.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking. I think maybe Dak. Maybe I might take Jefferson over Dak.
Yeah, that's
close because I mean, how many touchdowns did Dak Prescott have last year?
Like 20.
But remember he missed 5 games.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
In 23, he missed 5 games. He had 30 each of the last 2 years, at least the 2 years where he actually played. Yeah, I mean, maybe when Trevor Lawrence is gone is where I start to consider Jefferson. Maybe even over Trevor. But I mean, I don't know, man. The thing is with 6-point passing touchdown, 35 touchdowns, you're talking about 200 points just from touchdowns. They were talking about the yard. They're just talking about touchdowns.
And then you have to think, okay, well, if I'm at the 9, the 10, whatever, and I take a wide receiver, what quarterback can I get on the way back? That's my quarterback 1. Then at that point, you probably aren't getting Dak or Watson. You might then say, I have to go with one of the rookies or get a guy like Kirk Cousins. So if you're okay with that, because Kirk Cousins, I mean, what did Kirk Cousins have? Hold on.
Cousins would be in 6-point. He had to have a bunch of touchdowns.
I shouldn't be looking because it's my turn to pick, but
he had 29.
29 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty good for a 6-point passing touchdown league. So, then you have the Cousins Jefferson connection.
True. You get the stack.
But yeah.
All right, this is a good one too. Who's better in Dynasty, Lawrence or Fields? This is I think better isn't the right word. I think it's more like, what do you prefer? Do you want the guy who you can feel good, is going to be a franchise quarterback for the next probably 8 to 10 years? Or do you want the guy with tremendous upside, but the risk of, maybe he won't be a starting quarterback 3 years from now or something?
Yeah, I'm still taking Trevor Lawrence, even if Justin Fields could put up bigger numbers this year. Yeah, call me traditional. I don't know. I'll go with the pocket passer. You got to remember, Trevor Lawrence wasn't just the number 1 pick. He was considered a generational talent. I actually kind of wish that they would have him run more, right? Scramble a little bit, not just sit back and pass. But yeah, I'll go with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, that's generally where I'm going to go in Dynasty, because you don't want to, let's say Fields isn't very good this year. Let's say he doesn't improve as a passer, and the Bears are like, okay, we're done with Justin Fields. Now you're really like, what do I do at quarterback? Whereas Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be the QB. He's going to be the QB1 for years and years, right? He's going to be the QB1 for you. We don't have to worry about that. It's not like, Trevor Lawrence had that pedigree that we know he's going to be the guy.
And that was a really quick turn. Everybody had their last pick ready, I guess.
All right, what about Lawrence versus Watson in Dynasty?
Okay, sorry. Lawrence versus Watson.
I think I still got to go Lawrence just for the age.
Yeah, I think Lawrence. I give him the edge.
Yeah, and we probably still haven't seen the best of Trevor Lawrence yet. I mean, he was very good last year. I mean, we almost have to consider last year his rookie year, because Urban Meyer that like his true rookie year was basically like he might as well not have even had a rookie year because he had to deal with Urban Meyer and all that crap. So last year was like was almost like his rookie year where he actually had some stability, a real head coach. I could see him being even better this year. I could see him getting, 4,500 to 5,000 yards, 35 touchdowns. So
we got a hot take. Rob loves the hot takes, by the way.
I think you got a Puka pick. I like it. Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper will both be top 1, 2, 3. There's only 2 of them. Who's going to be the third? Njoku?
Well, he said both. Maybe he means that they'll both be top 3. They'll either finish 1, 2, or 3. Anyways, hey, it could happen. Could definitely happen. All right, but we are done. Let me take this off. There you go. All right. So here we go. You guys know the deal. If you don't, let me explain quickly. After the draft, we'll break down each team. We used to assign grades, but people get stuck up on the numbers and comparing each other. It's not a contest. It's not a competition. Although actually it is. That's exactly.
Yeah, it kind of is.
All right, but we're just here to evaluate. We're talking big picture here, strategies, roster builds. This is to help. This is to get you ready for draft season. That's what we're doing. So we're going to evaluate not individual players as much as the selection, the value, making the right choices in terms of position and ADP and all that. So let's start with the other John, 65 at the 1, of course, Justin Jefferson, Josh Jacobs at 212, not scared of a holdout there. Calvin Ridley, Mike Williams, J.K. Dobbins in round 5, Kadarius Toney in round 6. I feel like is that the new minimum for him, the 612?
That might be the new high, yes.
All right. We'll see how that turns out. Trevor Lawrence, A.J. Dillon, Darnell Mooney, Chig, Rashawn Johnson, DPJ, and then Downs.
Yeah, so I like Ridley. Feels a little early for him. I would have preferred Cooper, like I was saying. He did kind of semi-snipe me on Mike Williams. I love Dobbins, of course. Tony is the one pick where I feel like it's pretty early. But other than that, I mostly like this team. I like Chig as a late round tight end. I think A.J. Dillon is going to surprise people this year. You got T-Law. You may have some issues in the flex with Tony, Dillon, Mooney, Johnson. May have some issues in the flex, but I like most of the picks here.
Yeah, well, I'll just say that, I think Tony in the 6 is high, not just because I don't see him that way, but maybe. I guess thinking because he's at the end there, right? The 1, if he waited all the way to the 8-12, he probably wouldn't have got him. He's going to be gone by then. It still feels a little high. So I would say the build is good. It's balanced. You have solid RBs, solid wide receivers if Tony pins out. So I think the strategy overall worked. A couple of players were a little high for me. Like I would take Cooper over Ridley. I would have taken Flowers over Tony. But, overall this is pretty good. Could turn out. All right. Well, there you go. We got a believer. Brian. All right. King of the world at the 2. We got Jamar Chase, Ramondre at the 211. Then got Cooper in front of you. Christian Kirk, Joe Burrow, Kyle Pitts, Madison, Brian Robinson, Jameson Williams, Jaden Reed, Kamara, Tyler Boyd, and Marvin Mims.
Tyler Boyd, that's got to be only like the second time we've ever seen Tyler Boyd drafted in one of these. So we definitely has a Bengal stack. Got Chase, Burrow, and Boyd for whatever that's worth. I like Chase. Stevenson's a great start. Getting Cooper there is nice. I like Kirk as a wide receiver 3 a lot. You got Burrow, you got Pitts. Madison, Robinson, that's fine. I probably would have liked to seen. I probably would have liked to seen like another running back or 2 here because you did wait on your RB2 so much. You don't really have a lot of depth behind Madison and Robinson. So, but overall, I think this is a very good team. Chase, Cooper, Kirk, that's great wide receivers. Stevenson, and then one of Madison and Robinson is your RB2 in your flex should be okay. Burrow and Pitts, I think this is a very good team.
Yeah, I do like this build. I think took some smart risks, taking Pitts, who of course has all the upside in the world. At RB2, you waited and you took some swings on Madison, who could be a great pick, could flop, who knows? Brian Robinson, I like that pick. And hey, look, for all we've said about Kamara, getting him that late, it's worth it as your RB4. There's nothing wrong with that. He could pay off. So I like this team overall. Jameson Williams has some upside. I think the flex spot is the iffy part, right? Because you're hoping one of those guys. But who am I to talk? Because I have Cortland Sutton or Romeo Dobbs as my flex. So let's go to number 3, Sean, and who, by the way, says that your aunt says hi. You want to know?
I saw it. Tell her I said hi.
So he took CMC, went with Pat Mahomes, DK Metcalf. We discussed Najee, Mike Evans, TJ Hawkinson, Quentin Johnson, Javonte, Gabe Davis, Mingo, Jamal Williams, Lazard, and Hyatt. So despite the relation, definitely took some players that you are not a fan of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know how often he does 3 wide receiver drafts. I'm sure I know this is the first one he's done with us, so he doesn't really understand how fast the wide receivers go in these leagues. I would have definitely preferred had he gone, Kupp or Tyreek there. Even though I like CMC, obviously, and I like the value he got on Najee. I think that's a great spot for Najee. But now his 3 wide receivers are DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, and then Quentin Johnston, Gabe Davis, Jonathan Mingo. I mean, you have to start 3 of those guys. You have to. You don't have a choice. And now your flex is going to be not Javonte probably for a while. Gabe Davis, well, Jonathan Mingo, Jamal, so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think most of his leagues are probably 2 wide receiver leagues, and again, he hasn't drafted with us, but yeah, you just got to know in these drafts the wide receivers go fast.
Yeah, it's experience. That's why you do it, because every league is different. A lot of leagues will go running back heavy first round, and you just never know. But that's the way it is. Wide receivers fly when you have to start 3, and then your flex, you probably want a receiver. That's just how it is. All right, and then we have you. Cooper Kupp, Saquon, and Pollard. An unusual build for you, going 2 RBs early, although it's happening more and more, so maybe it's not too unusual. I don't know.
Well, it's this is the thing. So Nate saying Chris has trained us to be fully deranged on wide receivers. Because it used to be running backs, right? We did not in our job, but running backs. In most leagues, you're going to have 7 or 8 running backs plus Travis Kelce in the first round, maybe even a QB, who knows? And you get these crazy wide receiver values. But in our drafts, you get these crazy running back values. So you got to draft. You got to draft what the board gives you. But anyways.
Well, there you go. And that's exactly it, because receivers were going. You liked Pollard there. Can't blame you on that. Took Hollywood, Pittman, Pickens, and Flowers. Thank you very much. Gibson and Pirine, Njoku, and then got AR as your quarterback, Osborne and Jerome Ford. So obviously you got your 2 good running backs. I think your wide receiver room turned out pretty good, because even though I personally see Hollywood more as kind of a high-end wide receiver 3 type, I think he'll be fine because of your build. You got Pittman, could wind up being better than Hollywood. Pickens and Flowers, you don't have to pick both those guys. You can just start one on a weekly basis. You like your discount QB tight end stack there. You got the guys you like. I think it turned out well. You said you like this team a lot, huh?
I like it a lot. I don't typically like my builds when I go 2 running backs early, but I like the wide receivers I got. Obviously, I might be higher. I think I'm higher than most on Hollywood Brown, but I also think that we see Kyler very early in the year. I think we see Hollywood pretty close to what he was before his foot injury last year. So I like this team.
All right, there you go. And then we got KJ Artanari. Well, I will never say right. Slid in to Clayton's spot there. Took Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, Nick Chubb, Judy, Deontay, and Dotson. Kittle at the tight end, and then went straight running back, looking for a number 2 guy. Cook, Herbert, Mitchell, and Algier, with DJ Chark and Tim Patrick signing.
Yeah, so wide receivers are okay, like Hill, Judy, Deontay, Dotson. You got 3 decent. Hill's obviously great. Judy and Deontay, I think, will be okay. Dotson in your flex is good. You got Chubb. That's good value on Chubb, even by my standards. You got Hurts. You got Kittle. You took some shots at RB2. Obviously, that's probably going to be the area where you struggle. But I always say, if your RB2 is your weakness, you're doing pretty well because it's pretty easy to find RB2s throughout the season. So I think it's a good team. Definitely has a lot of potential.
Yeah, I feel like this team is set pretty much at every position. What you see is what you're getting. You know, the starters are the starters. The backups you probably won't need. Like Mitchell and Algier guys you really aren't putting in unless there's an injury. You know. So it's solid. Like I don't know. I guess some of the players just don't get me excited, but that doesn't mean they won't be good. You know what I mean? But it's a solid team. And then there's my team. I took Bijan, Higgins, DJ Moore, and Ayuk, Lamar, DeAndre Swift. I took Goddard at tight end, Sutton, Ashane, Dobbs, Foreman, Mechie, and Hodgins.
Yeah, I mean, really can't complain about any picks up to Goddard. Obviously, we talked about it. You know, waiting on that flex. Now you're looking at Sutton, Ashane, maybe Dobbs. Like, yeah, your flex might be a bit iffy, but the rest of your lineup is very good. You got 3 strong wide receivers. Obviously, Swift is going to make or break this team, right? If Swift busts, you're going to be in trouble because now, like, who's your RB2 and flex going to be? But if Swift hits, then this team is probably going to be a strong contender. So, yeah, this team to me hinges on Swift.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I love where I got Lamar, but this is also why I hate drafting in the middle, right? Because it's like you never really get the guy you want. Like you get what's there. Like, you know, again, having T. Higgins as my wide receiver 1 is okay because I went running back early, but it doesn't get me all jazzed up. And, you know, having Sutton as my flex definitely doesn't jazz me up. And I feel like it was a little early on Moore, so it's like I don't think it's a bad team, but it's not going to be my favorite. All right, Keith. Let's see what you did. You went with Diggs, Devontae Smith, Mark Andrews, Godwin, and Addison. And then, so I guess he did. This is our first official 0 RB build. I'm just realizing this. So he went 5 straight non-running backs. Then Rashad White, Miles Sanders, Monty, and Penny, Gallup, Sky Moore, Jalen Warren, and Tua.
I mean, obviously the wide receivers they're good. They're very good. Godwin is your wide receiver 3 is good. Addison, I think, is great. I was really surprised. I thought I was going to get Addison where I took Pittman. I got to stop talking about people. But you got, you know, between White, Sanders, and Monty, you should have 2 capable running backs. Penny, if he can stay healthy, took some shots on Gallup and Sky Moore. Jalen Warren there, 2 with your last pick. I think this is a very solid draft. Yeah,
I mean, those are the right kind of running backs to take if you're doing 0 RB. Obviously, you're set at receiver. You got a guy you believe in as a stud in Andrews. You got 2 in the last round. Can't complain about that. So, excellent draft. And then Nate went with Eckler. I think he said at one point, he said his team is going to need some dentures here with some veterans. Eckler, Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins. Yep, that's veteran. Etienne, Herbert, Bateman, Waller, Jacoby Myers, Odell Beckham, McKinnon, Pearson, Thornton. So definitely some experience here. I'd say right now it's interesting. He went with 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds. So he's probably flexing Etienne. Got Bateman as a wide receiver 3, unless he switches that to your boy Jacoby Myers. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like your team, but the opposite, where his flex should be pretty solid. I mean, between Eckler, Henry, and Etienne, like, you should have 2 very good running backs and a decent flex. But now your wide receiver 3, maybe even your wide receiver 2, depending on where Hopkins lands, could be very dicey. Could be very bad. You did get Herbert. That's good. And I do like your running backs. Even Waller, like, yeah. This is my favorite team he's drafted.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about waiting on receiver too long. He made obviously a decision there to go running back, I guess, going for value. So, and you know, I like Bateman, but I don't I don't want him as my wide receiver 3. So just the wide receivers could be an issue. Otherwise, I mean, you got talent. Definitely got talent on your team. Anthony went with CeeDee Lamb, JT and Brees Hall, McLaurin, JSN, and Burks. I feel like he's a big JSN guy. Doesn't he keep taking him? Am I right? Okay.
Probably him and Michael Thomas.
Yeah, we know who the Michael Thomas believers are. All right, and then Dak and Muth, Rondale Moore, Michael Thomas, Zamir White, and then Thielen. I feel like that was just for you, that pick.
I think that was just to rile me up, needle me a little bit. I mean, it's a good team. Like you got Lamb, McLaurin, JSN, Burks, maybe some volatility at wide receiver, but that's okay. You know, JT there. I love JT this year. I think people are like, I don't understand. Like he's an elite talent. He's been awesome until last year, and now all of a sudden it's like, he's just kind of okay. And look, if Brees needs time to recover, you can probably just roll with Aaron Jones early in the season as your RB2. And then if Brees is, closer to 100% by the end of the season, you'll be good there. I like the Dak Muth combo. Obviously, MT and Thielen, whatever. But overall, I think it's a good team.
So both MT and Thielen picks were just for you. So sacrificing 2 late round picks just on your behalf. Yeah, I think this team is pretty good. I like the receivers you got. The fact that you went RB round 2 and 3. McLaurin, I think he's fine as your second receiver. You have upside at least. And I'm starting to think really Aaron Jones in round 7 is great value because, I mean, round 7, come on.
We're gonna have to argue one of these days. We're gonna have to argue what value is because again, like I think Aaron Jones will be okay, but like if Miles Sanders ends up being a true workhorse, well, I guess he didn't go. Okay, if Isaiah Pacheco ends up being a workhorse, or Dalvin Cook signs somewhere good, or Montgomery scores 18 touchdowns or whatever, then Aaron Jones isn't going to feel like a good value anymore. Like it's kind of like when people say like, he's going as wide receiver 50. He's gonna be way better than that, and then he finishes as wide receiver 42. It's like, okay, you were right. He beat his ADP, but nobody wanted to, you know what I mean? But he still wasn't very good. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
All right, we'll save that for another day. Let's go to Ronnie's team. Went with Kelsey first, and then Olave, Josh Allen, Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett. Mixon was the first running back. Connor was the second. Charbonnet the third, and Tank the fourth, with a sprinkle of Brandon Cooks, Juju, Rashee Rice, and Puka in the last round.
Yeah, so I can't lie. I'm a little disappointed that he didn't just go all in 0 RB and take like Burks or Dotson or Pickens or whoever he likes over Mixon and just say, I'm doing it. Right? He kind of like Olave, Allen, and Lockett, that's good. You got Kelsey and Josh Allen, that's great. I would have loved it if you had like Burks or Burks, Dotson, Pickens, Flowers, whoever. Just pick whatever one you like. And then got Connor and Dalvin Cook, Damian Harris, Zach Charbonnet, something like that. And just really, just really went full 0 RB and then just banked as many running backs as you can. But still, I actually think James Conner is going to outscore Joe Mixon this year. No, not even joking on that. I really do. So I think James Conner will end up being your RB1 and Mixon your RB2, but it's fine. So yeah, I like the team. I'm just, I wanted you to see you just fully embrace that 0 RB. Just be like, I'm doing it. Full 0 RB.
Yeah, and I would say that, if you're going to do it, you might as well this is a 3-receiver league. You got your 3 receivers, lock down that flex with a receiver, and then go RB. Like, you might as well. Let me ask you this, though, because obviously Mixon not the pick. If that pick was like Akers or Swift, a different running back you like better, maybe let's just pretend Kenneth Walker fell another couple picks. Would that change your mind or no? Just say, like you just do it or don't.
No, I mean, obviously I would prefer Swift or Rashad White or Akers or whatever, but No, I just wanted to see him fully embrace the 0 RB. I wanted to see him just be like, I'm not picking a running back till round 7. I don't care.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, AL.
Well, hold on. I got to answer this from Nate because Nate just said, I'm good at picking busts, and I'm trying to tell you all not to draft Mixon. Who was going to take touches from Alvin Kamara last year? And I told everybody not to draft Alvin Kamara. Just because the guy gets touches doesn't mean he's going to be great. Joe Mixon was terrible last year, and who took touches from him? I mean, Samaje Perine did not get that many touches. Like, I think my issue with Mixon is not who's going to take touches. It's that A, it's a pass-heavy offense. B, he's not the third down back, and I don't think he's going to be the third down back this year. And C, he's dust. He's not very good. He was not good last year. He was not good. He's well over he's dust. Anyways, let's move on though. Move on. Yeah. And Ronnie, I'm not saying, and to answer this for Ronnie, got it. That's why I'm just saying it like entertaining wise. I wanted to see you go full 0 RB. I still like your team. That's all.
Yeah, we could go on about Mixon, but let's go into AL, who didn't really go all the way either on 0 RB. He did take 4 receivers, but then couldn't pass up on Kenneth Walker, which I understand at 5'11", that's a steal. And then took Akers, Pacheco, Deshaun Watson, Damian Harris, Ingram at tight end, Rashid Shaheed, Chase Brown, and Devin Singletary. So for I don't know, what do you call this? It's not really 0 RB. Do you call this robust receiver? I don't know what you call it.
I guess. robust wide receiver, I guess. Obviously, 4 very good wide receivers. I think between Walker, Akers, Pacheco, and Harris, you could have you'll have 2 decent running backs every week. I like the Deshaun value. I like the Ingram value. I like the 3 shots at the end. Can't find anything to complain about with this team, to be honest.
No, it's usually pretty hard to complain about AL's teams. I mean, you set a receiver, you wound up for waiting on running back, which is why I always feel like, why do I even bother? But because he somehow manages to pull it off, like waiting on running back and then still getting great running backs. Got Walker and Akers, guys I love. So nothing else to say. Well done as always. I did want to address this. I've been thinking about this lately. I do kind of feel like that's possible. Devontae Smith is the same or better than Brown, and Brown's one of those guys that I feel like, yeah, you almost have to take him in the first round, but I'm okay not taking him and waiting for Devontae Smith in round 2. I don't know. Do you think that's possible? Assuming health, right? Forget, he's been banged up. Okay, let's assume they both play a full season.
I mean, I certainly think it's possible, but I don't know. I still prefer AJ Brown. I think he gives you more like the yard after the catch and those type of plays than Smith. But I do really like Smith. So
yeah, a good question. There's not a strict definition. What what Godfather of 0 RB, was it Sean Siegel? What is his criteria? It's probably changed.
I think his criteria was like you don't even take your first running. Yeah, you don't take your first running back until I think it was like round 7 or 8. Yeah, that was true 0 RB, and then it became this thing where it's like, right. It's round 3 and I still haven't taken a running back. I'm doing 0 RB.
Modified 0 RB. I don't know. It doesn't matter what you call it. But that's...
Now I remember back in the day you just drafted. Now there's like 50 different draft names. Back in the day you just drafted.
It's either a hero RB, a robust RB, 0. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. It's crazy.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. And then finally, NMB went with St. Brown, Garrett Wilson.
By the way, before we get to it, NMB is saying this is one of his favorite teams he's drafted so far, other than the Dalvin Cook panic pick, which I don't even think the Dalvin Cook pick was bad, but let's get into it.
Well, like that pick might be fine. Okay. So when St. Brown, Wilson, London. And by the way, this was the last team technically to fill, right? The 12th spot was still available. We always see this in the 12th spot. You get Sun God and Garrett Wilson, you're off to a good start. London, we talked plenty about earlier in the draft. Good there. Gibbs and Pierce. I mean, right there, Gibbs is going to kind of define whether this is a great team or not, right? If Gibbs has a great season, you're great. Justin Fields, I feel like at the 6-1, that's tremendous. Elijah Moore, Dalvin Cook, the panic pick, Nico, Kendre Miller, Dulcich. I like the Dulcich pick a lot. I'll tell you that. Van Jefferson and Josh Reynolds. A little line heavy, but look, if that line offense, and Jahmyr Gibbs is good, what do you think? Could this be a contender?
You got 3 good young. This is going to be a great dynasty team, man. Wow. St. Brown, Wilson, London is your wide receivers. Gibbs and Pierce at running back. Fields, Elijah Moore, Dalvin Cook. But, but I like it. You got 3 good wide receivers. You got 2 young, dynamic running backs. You got Fields. I like the Dulcich pick. I think Dalvin Cook there is fine. I mean, if he ends up signing somewhere halfway decent, that could end up being a great pick. I like Nico this year. I like Kendre a lot. Yeah, I like it. It's a good team.
It is a very good team. Like I said, obviously Gibbs is going to go a long way toward determining, how this team finishes. But you're in a good position there. I think the Cook pick is fine. I like the Dulcich pick, like I said. Fields, I mean, again, proof why picking at the end is pretty good. A pretty good spot. All right. So speaking of, we're going to do this again tomorrow. What do we have in store? Because today, what day is today? Summer, so I don't know. It's Wednesday. We've been doing Dynasty on Wednesday. But that's because we didn't do a draft yesterday. Are we doing Dynasty tomorrow or?
We'll probably do redraft again. I feel like we are. I mean, it's always Dynasty season, right? Dynasty season never ends, but I feel like we're entering redraft season here. I mean, we'll still do some Dynasty drafts when we do 3 drafts a week, but
yeah,
I think we'll do redraft again.
Dynasty draft season is not going to be too much longer, but once we get closer to August, it's all hands on deck for redraft. So maybe next week when we do 3 times, but we will be back tomorrow night. So one last reminder, you want to get in early like so many people did tonight. Check flockfantasy.com/endgame. You see it right there, 30% off. All that stuff is included. If you haven't checked it out, this is a good time to do that. And we will see you again for the next one. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.